sorry, 2015, I started talking about fitness and nutrition, and I used to volunteer in senior homes. So I saw there was clearly something lacking in the senior fitness scene. And for people who have not exercised for a long time, right, to get their basic ideas. And for Singaporeans, you can't really follow YouTube because they will be eating different kind of food. For us, we are hawker center people, right?
Yeah.
Hawker center people. How do you find healthy food in a hawker center? So when I created that, I had a bit of following and people connected. A lot of people came in.
Yeah.
And then when I switched to talking about current affairs, I realized people had gone through the same thing I've gone through, which I wasn't that sure of, and I could connect. So basically, that's it.
Why did you go into current affairs?
So I went through a bit of a rough patch from 2010 to even now to a large extent. I went through quite a bad fallout with my ex-wife. And so what happened was we went through a bad divorce, and I had a child and all that. So then I realized that when I went through the system to get support, to keep the house, going through the court system and going through, trying to keep the house which was my parents' house that I bought over, I found that there was a lot of cracks in the structure and the framework that was set in place. And I'm a normal, hardworking guy, right? And so I kept falling through the cracks. I kept realizing that a lot of things that were done to me on a personal note could have been done better, And when I look back and say, was that fair? I always say it could be done better. And then there was once Yaqub Ibrahim, I was staying at St. George Road. So we had actually me and my ex-wife just took over my parents' house because they couldn't afford it.
In where? St. George's Road?
Yeah, in St. George Road, right. So we took over. My parents we were living there for a long time. And then me and my wife took over the place. And then when we went through a divorce, I only had about $100,000 to pay up. And we have been making payment through the years
to buy that house.
To buy the house over. It's a 4-room, it's a huge flat. And so I had to give out the profits to my wife.
Yeah.
I still had enough and had enough of my CPF.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to buy over. And so by that time, my father had passed on. So it was only me and my mom. And it was a 4-room flat. And HDB told me, you can't. So I said, why? I can pay for it.
Oh, it's an HDB flat.
Yes, an HDB flat. And then they said, you can't. I said, why? Because it's only you and your mom. You are not allowed to have such a big house. This was in 2011. This is what they told me. So I said, but that's not fair. We've been living here all this while. So do you take away a house of people who, like 5 people say, then 3 passed on, you take the house? Say, no. In your situation, because you have to, because of divorce, you have to sell the flat and you gave your share. So you have to reapply to get this house again.
Oh,
so
you were planning to buy back the share that you had given away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they didn't allow that. And it was sold to an Indonesian couple. And here I am, 3rd generation Singaporean. My father had worked was the backbone of the pioneer generation. Yeah. And then, and my grandfather was a union leader back then, helping the Singaporeans, Indians who came from India, for Traction Company. And so I'm 3rd generation, normal working guy. Why can't I get what we paid for? They took it away. And then they say, you only qualify for a studio apartment. I said, I'm a grown man and I have a mother who's old enough. She would want her privacy as well. Yeah. And what if I get married again? I said, no, for now you can only get a studio apartment.
Because that's the rules, right?
Back then, right? Yes. And so when I went through all this, and then when we went to go for rental, they say your pay do not qualify for rental, so you got to take rental from a outside open market, which is expensive.
Yeah.
And so you keep falling through the crack. And so that's what kind of started noticing something is not right, man. And somebody should speak up. And so I started speaking up. That's it.
That sounds like a very common experience,
with
right?
everybody now. I
When
realize.
we have to deal with the bureaucracy,
Yeah.
right? Who are what some people call it a rule by rules.
Okay.
Not a rule of law, but a rule by rules.
Yes.
Yes.